Hi class, this is my Module 9 reflection. My name is Alexis Carabinas, and the first question says, describe the role of assistive technologies in the classroom. Assistive technologies is basically a way for the students, teachers, and faculty to communicate with each other and to complete assignments accordingly, or to create a more sustainable life. So, for example, you can have hearing aids, you can have wheelchairs, you could have technology for the blind to communicate or learn your lessons. It's just another learning curve for the students, especially students with disabilities, but it could be people that are everyday just like you and me. What past experiences have you had with assistive technologies? In the past, at my previous college, at Barton Community College, I worked in a gallery where we had hosted a lot of days with special needs classes, and I remember a child who was mute, completely mute, and he used a device had like key phrases already on the pad, like they had already programmed it in. Um, and that was really, really cool because he wanted to talk, but at the same time, something about him wouldn't let him talk. I've also seen people with hearing aids, and I have so many friends with wheelchairs and prosthetics, so I've seen this all all around. Out of the assistive technologies looked at this week, what did you find most interesting or most applicable for your teaching? I believe the turntables is what they're called. Tilt table, excuse me. Because I'm going to be teaching art and I want my students of any background, any disability or none, to be able to position their tables for whatever we're doing to best fit their physical needs. So, for example, if we are drawing, we could have tilted tables that will give them the access to not have to hold anything down. We'll also have tape to add adhesive to those works. That way they can work freely as much as they can. I've also, while researching other assistive technologies that were not on this module, I found technologies where people with hand prosthetics that are missing an arm or a hand can now, with the nerves of their brain, can have fingers that close the fingertips. So for an example, you could use a charcoal pencil, you can use a paintbrush, anything of that sort. For someone that doesn't have a limb, and that's very, very useful. It could also be very expensive, but technology is really coming around for those who need prosthetics. Question 2. As provided in the Bruinsma 2011 article, I think that's how you say it, describe 3 of the 6 applications. So I have little notes here. And the applications of assistive technology include existence, communication, positioning, mobility, physical education, and environmental interaction. I chose the first 3. So existence, an example of that, existence, the definition of assistive technology for existence is anything that is necessary to sustain life. So an example would be prosthetic devices. That some people without prosthetics can't walk or communicate or do anything like that. So that is a very good example of that. The second one I found was communication, and an example of this is anything that includes both oral and written expression as well as visual and auditory reception and social interaction. And an example of this I found on the internet that was not in the essay was hearing aids. And something as little as either being deaf or having very hard hearing can be very important to the way people accept information in any class. The third application I found was positioning assistive technology, and an example of this I found was seat insert. So, for example, if someone has cerebral palsy and they're leaning to the left, the seat insert can have a position where it fits under their right side or left side, and to keep them even so they can sit in the classroom properly. A lot of people have a stigma where cerebral palsy patients are mentally declined and have that problem, although sometimes that is the case. A lot of times it's not. They have the same normal minds as everybody else, but because of their discomfort, it can take a wear and tear on their learning capabilities. We'll find one additional assistive technology that was not listed in the module, and I found electronic worksheets. I found it at mastersinspecialeducation.com, and they gave 5 examples, but the one I found specifically were electronic worksheets, and they this involves students with learning disabilities like dyslexia can use electronic worksheets to complete their assignments. They line up words, equations, numbers. They also have text-to-speech applications or speech synthesizing technology. So for someone who has that kind of learning disability, some people will have no idea they have that disability until they're in college, or sometimes parents catch it really, really early on when their child is not grasping the easy techniques that they should be at that age. So this can really help students progress, especially with that disability. And I think that's it. Thanks.